How's it going, everybody? Today is just a weekly update, mainly for the New World November week one, which was the focus on aliens. So basically, reading any short stories, anything really, I guess, short story, and then or a novel if you would like to, just anything to do with aliens. But we're gonna mostly focus on like short stories. So I read, I guess, three short stories this week focusing on aliens, and then I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I did read a graphic, not comic book, I should say, comic book arc that which I will explain in a second. So I finished Space Force by Jeremy Robinson. These were all on my Kindle, so I don't have them physically with me. So Space Force by Jeremy Robinson is basically it took a lot of like Fortnite references, the Battle Royale, Call of Duty is that I know Call of Duty had one, PUBG, just um, these excuse me these references from that. And it was okay. Basically, aliens attack. 100 aliens come, or I should say, aliens come and they put a big dome around a United States military base, and they have 100 of their best aliens going up against 100 of the United States military. On this base, so of course you've got the tropes where the family was visiting dad on the base, and they get show they're part of the 100. So you've got that. I think you've got those type of tropes, whereas not all of the people on the base are soldiers. So yeah, and it's very entertaining, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it's just the story's been done. I mean, Hunger Games, for example, Battle Royale. It's so the story has been done, but just a little bit of a twist. And there's a lot of there's a lot of Fortnite references. It seems like the aliens were watching. This is how human race, decide their battles by playing Fortnite. So they thought it was real. So they came down. They said, basically, our 100 versus your 100. We get to take Earth. If you guys lose, we go away. If you guys win, so kind of like that. But yeah, it was entertaining. Is it a good book? I mean, it's all right. Nothing to write home about, I guess. The next ones I read were out of Horror Stories, which is a collection of horror stories. I was reading it for Halloween, and I decided there are some space horror in this that I can save for this week. And this is by Jack Kilborn / J.A. Conrath. They are the same person. And he writes some pretty disturbing stuff. There was a few alien abduction stories. There was a twist on a few. It's just pretty disturbing writing. They're if you're interested, they were. I don't know if they're free anymore. They were free on Kindle a couple weeks back when he was every because he's a big horror author. So for the 30 day or the days in for 30 days in Hollow or during in excuse me, yeah, for 30 days in October, every day he'd come up with a free one of his free short works, and this happened to be one of them, and I picked one up. And yeah, it is a pretty disturbing book. Not just his horror stories. There's a few good ones in there, but most of it is pretty like, I can see why this might not have, made the public taste, I guess. It's yeah, but yeah. So those are that. Let's get to what my cheating thing is. So technically, I read the first two volumes of Thor: God of Thunder. Technically, the Asgardians are aliens, so that counts to me. the first two volumes, if you don't know God of Thunder, is the Gore the God Butcher volumes, the saga, I guess. I don't know. It's not really a saga. The story of Gore the God Butcher. Gore the God Butcher is. I picked up this series because this is going to be the basis of Thor: Love and Thunder coming out next July, I think. The third or the new Thor movie that's coming out, the Thor 4, I guess. And Gore the God Butcher basically he's going to be the villain portrayed by, which I'm very excited because Christian Bale is a great actor. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with this character. So Gore basically is he loses his entire family just to starvation and just living on basically a desert planet that there's no rain, nothing can grow. So his entire family just keeps dying. He loses his entire family, and they're all saying, pray to the gods and all that stuff, and they'll come. And he finally turns his back on the gods and says, fuck it, I'm killing them all. So he just goes on this quest. I think it's like 900 years of him just butchering gods. And, of course, he attracts the attention of Thor, and they have a little fight and more fights, and they kind of become mortal enemies of each other, just because that is the only purpose of Gore the God Butcher. It's in his name. He just butchers gods. So yeah, the first two volumes were pretty good. Gave them 3 stars each, and I can't wait to watch the movie. All right, moving away from New Worlds November, I guess. I did finish one book. I finished The Town of Jasper. I don't know if I talked about this one. I don't think I did. So this is pretty good. This is James Giannetta. Basically, what this one what happens here is a mysterious disease puts people to sleep. They're just sleeping, and this story takes place 5 years after the incident. And they're still, sleeping. They've quarantined off Jasper because the government does not want, whatever happened to there to get out. Not all the residents of Jasper are sleeping. Only family members and stuff like that. Most of the Jasper residents are asleep, and there are a few leftovers who are just kind of running the town. But they're mad because the government, the United States basically turned their back on them. So this one focuses on a detective going into the town of Jasper to trying to figure out what's going on, because he's very curious to see what's going on. And the narrative of this story is, one chapter it'll be in the present, which is 5 years after the incident. The next chapter it'll go back to 6 months before the incident to get to talk about the townspeople, and it all comes to a head at the end. Gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed my time in Jasper. And then I am reading right now The Splinter King by Mike Brooks. This is the second in the God King Chronicles. First one being Black Coast. And I can't really talk too much about this because it will spoil the Black Coast. All I can say is go read the Black Coast. It's I believe I gave it 5 stars. It's a very entertaining read. Mike Brooks has a trilogy called the Kiko trilogy, I believe. It's a science fiction one that I read, and I gave it like 2 stars, and I didn't get into that. But again, it's science fiction. That's why I'm doing this New Worlds November. I can't get into science fiction for some reason. So that might be my fault that I did not like his first works. But his path into fantasy, his first path into fantasy, has been very entertaining. So that is all I have. Everyone take care and have a good weekend.